Hi, everyone. This is Denitris Farrell, Transformation Strategist and Success Coach. Thank you for tuning in for my very first LinkedIn video and the first of a series I'm launching called Transition Talk Tuesdays. Why Transition Talk Tuesdays? First, my coaching practice specializes in helping professionals in transition clarify their vision, set inspiring goals, and develop strategies to achieve success. Additionally, last week I officially entered the biggest transition of my professional career, stepping away from a company I've been with for over a decade to launch and build my coaching and consulting practice. So over the last month, as I've geared up for this big jump, the following message: show your work. If you remember your math teacher, show your work, don't wait until it's pretty, has been echoing at full volume in my spirit. So here we are. Join me on my journey through this exciting transition. So the first topic I'd like to share for Transition Talk Tuesdays is on the power of making a decision. Indecisiveness, doubt, fear even, it's all baggage that slows us down and sometimes even prevents us from claiming what's rightfully ours. So let me tell you a little bit about my decision to jump. Now, I won't talk about the decision-making process. I won't bore you with all of those details. But let's talk about what happened after I said I had made a decision. From the date I decided to leave my company until now, there were all of these sort of escape hatches or exit doors or loopholes or clauses in place that will allow me to back out. So I could back out before my last day or back out before I turned in my badge and equipment, etc. And as each of these milestones would approach, I would begin second guessing my decision. Doubts would start to seep in. I started questioning myself, like, who does this? Who leaves a great job at a Fortune 100 company making great money? Shouldn't you at least build the business before you take the leap, Denitris? Or are you sure you don't want to build your business while you're working full-time, Denitris? Sort of all of these thoughts and doubts continue to sort of seep in the back of my head, although I had already made a decision. So what I did is I spent the period between each decision trying to quiet those voices. So that first period, I really spent going back and forth with myself, not fully committed. And then that period between that first and second milestone, I spent really trying to lay the groundwork, like, okay, you need to get serious about this if this is what you want to do. Making sure I ran all the numbers and checked them 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, etc. But then finally, I spent that last week between, the last milestone and the very final chance to sort of back out and hop back on the ship. I spent that last week practicing being a full-time entrepreneur. And I practiced so well that before the week was over, it didn't feel like practice anymore. It felt like life. So much so that when that third milestone came, when it was time to say, this is your last chance to back out, your last chance to jump back on the ship, that moment came and went. And the only reaction that I remember was a, huh? And a smile. So I woke up this morning, the day after sort of my last chance to jump back on the ship. I woke up this morning full of energy and focus and inspiration. That morning after my last escape option, there was this overwhelming sense of peace. And that peace was the power of finally, truly having made a decision. The fear is gone. The doubt is gone. The who does that is met with a boisterous I do and I did. And that got me thinking about, what does that mean for my coaching clients? What does that mean from a coaching perspective? And so I was reminded of a model that was developed by David Rock. the model is called the SCARF model, and it stands for status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. And each of us have these sort of core needs innate to us. And although they are weighted differently by person and also by sort of where you are in your life, everyone has them, right? So we weigh them differently, but we all have them. So during the last decade, at least of my life, status and certainty have been pretty high ranking needs, right? You get the good job, you go get your MBA, you go to a top school for it, you get with a great company, you continue to progress in your career, etc. Right? Being able to say, hey, I'm a manager at a top, Fortune 100 company. I have an MBA from this school. So being able to say all of those things, that was very inherent to who I am as an individual. And so that status, the certainty of sort of knowing where your next check is going to come from, knowing what you're going to do on Monday morning, those things were really, really high ranking needs for me. And Deere provided that in spades. So during those milestone intervals that I talked about before, the work that I did really was to shore up my certainty. I couldn't change the status, right? I had to do some other work, mindset work, and maybe we'll talk about that in another Transition Tuesday around, decoupling who I am from where I work. But what I did to prepare for this jump was really focus on that certainty piece and shore up the certainty around this new venture. I did that by developing a plan. I am, my background is really around strategy and planning. That's where I spent the bulk of my time within Deere. And so to meet that need, I mapped out what do I need to do to be successful, sort of what are my goals, how am I going to get there, etc. Really developing a robust plan. That allowed me to meet that certainty need. And meeting that certainty need allowed me to remove the doubts, remove the fear, to be at peace with my decision. And that peace provided the space, the clarity, and the inspiration responsible for this video series anyway. I didn't have this in mind when I woke up this morning, but as thinking through this whole transition, it really came to show your work. What's that mean? You coach around transition. Girl, you're in a transition. Let's talk about that. So that's where this all came from. So I hope you'll continue to, follow along on this journey. I hope that you got something out of, the power of making a decision in the midst of a transition, one way or the other, realizing that the decision in and of itself and owning that decision provides so much space and energy and inspiration and clarity to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. So if any of this resonates with you, please like, comment, share, tag 3 people who will benefit from this message. Thanks for tuning in. This is Denitra Farrell, transformation strategist and success coach. This is Transition Talk Tuesday. Hope you join me again next week. Bye-bye.